Okay, so I just am going to talk about my meal prep for this coming week, just because that's the most relevant for right now. And I'm going to fix my hair too. Okay, so yesterday I did the majority of my meal prep. I didn't prep any of the protein. I didn't prep any of the meat yet, mostly because I like to do that like the night before or the day of. I live in Arizona, so sometimes like it just doesn't hold up as well if I do it too soon. So I just wanted to talk you briefly through what my meal plan is for this week. So tomorrow night I'm planning to have vegetable-based lasagna. Now I usually add in some noodles, so I have some like lasagna whole wheat noodles, but I use zucchini. So tomorrow morning, just because zucchini slicing too early when it's that thin doesn't hold up as well, tomorrow morning I'm gonna have the thawed ground beef, which I'll pull out tonight, and then I'm also going to have my zucchini that I can slice up super easily. I believe I also have an eggplant, so I'm going to spend a little time tomorrow morning just slicing that because it's going to be day of. I'm going to need to use it that night. What I'm also going to do tonight is I'm going to mix together my cheese, like my cottage cheese and Parmesan and mozzarella, so that I have everything ready just to throw it together. I have I'll cook the meat tomorrow morning. I might do it tonight, we'll see. I like to do a few things the night before just because it makes it so the day of is a little less stressful. Now, that's just for lasagna, super simple. Then once the ingredients are all ready and they're in a container in the fridge, then I'll just layer them together and they'll go. The next day that I'm working towards is stuffed bell peppers. So I got some bell peppers the other day, and I'm going to show you. Hopefully I can flip it. Oh, nope, I can't flip it around. Okay, I'm going to show you in here. I have a container. I usually put my produce in containers or baggies, but I have a container here that has 3 sliced and unseeded bell peppers. So those are ready. As far as that meal goes, I also need to cook some rice, some brown rice, and have that ready. I'm trying to think what else I might need brown rice for. I'm probably going to make brown rice for the next day too. So when I make my brown rice, I'm going to make enough to store in the fridge. That's something I'll also do tonight, just because it can all just like kind of cook at the same time. So simple things, like it's just thinking ahead and recognizing like what you have coming up and knowing what to do to get ready for that. Now, you don't necessarily have to prepare the exact amounts. Like sometimes you might have a little extra of, say, brown rice. That's okay. You can freeze it. You could use it for later. And actually, I just remembered I do have quinoa, which is like similar to brown rice, but I have quinoa that I'm actually going to use for the stuffed bell peppers. That's one of the recipes that I am happy to send you guys, or I will like attach a link and you can check out my blog with a lot of recipes on it. Okay, so stuffed bell peppers, that's mostly done. Part of that is going to be some ground beef, so I'll like be making the ground beef for the lasagna, and I'll be making it for the stuffed bell peppers. So like 2 in 1, right? Okay, Wednesday we're going to do a spaghetti squash chow mein with sliced beef, and I'm going to be doing the prep for that tomorrow night with it's cabbage and carrots, because if I do it too soon, the cabbage gets gross. But I have a salad master, which is amazing. So I have my cabbage ready to go. I've got my carrots, and I'm just going to slice that up really fast on my salad master. If you don't have one of those, I'm sorry. It's amazing though. Chopping cabbage though, chopping peppers, not that hard to do. But it's time consuming if you're like trying to do it and get food on the table at the same time. So doing it ahead of time helps. Just to give you some other ideas, I'm planning to do shredded honey pecan chicken, which is really, really good. The only thing I need for that is fresh parsley, so I have a note here to go to the store and get fresh parsley because I forgot. But I have to get the chicken out of the freezer the night before so that it's ready to be put in the crock pot. And then it's just drizzling the honey, a couple of the spices, and the pecans on top and sticking it in the crock pot. So that's a super simple, easy, low prep meal. Buffalo chicken with stuffed sweet potatoes. So I've got sweet potatoes here in my fridge. You can see my sweet potatoes are ready in here. These guys back here are the ones I'm going to be using for the stuffed chicken and sweet potatoes. And I'm going to be using the leftover shredded pecan chicken to go in the stuffed sweet potatoes. You see how I'm pulling things from one meal and I'm using them for another. Now, I also like to have leftovers for lunches. So usually when I say I'm making something, I'm making enough for there to be at least one meal of lunch with it for either my husband or myself. Some other things that I have prepped, just to give you some ideas. chopped veggies. I have fresh veggies pretty frequently, and so chopping those up and having them washed and ready to go makes it super easy to get them out and cook them. This is for breakfast. One of the breakfasts that I'm planning to do a few times this week is a sweet potato and bell pepper hash with eggs. So I just have to have these all chopped up into little pieces so they're ready to be just like whatever you call it on the skillet and cooked in olive oil or coconut oil. If you haven't tried coconut oil, I hope you do because it's really, really good with eggs. But scrambled eggs with this, super simple, add a little salt and pepper and I'm good. Another thing that I have planned to try is actually something I'll make ahead of time sometime this week. Like I'll make it that night or a morning and I'll have enough for multiple breakfasts. Again with the sweet potatoes, but I'm going to be using a little bit of bacon, sweet potatoes, and eggs, and I'm going to make a sweet potato bacon casserole. So I've never made it before. I'll let you know how it turns out. If it turns out good, then I'll share it with you. I think it'll be good. Anything with bacon is good, right? But when I do this though, just to give you an idea of how to use your containers. I need to find my containers first. They're hiding. Okay. Okay. My yellow container doesn't want to be found, but yellow container. I'm going to take my yellow container and I'm going to measure out 4 servings when I make the casserole. I'll measure out 4 yellow containers into the casserole dish. Then I'm going to do 4 individual eggs and 4 slices of bacon. That's going to make 1 full serving of protein per person or per serving, and 1 full serving of the sweet potatoes for a carb in the morning per person. Okay, so that's how you can use your containers, is you base what you're making off of the containers, just in case you're like trying to figure it out. You do not have to make everything ahead of time with the containers. Like if you're making brown rice, you don't have to measure yellow containers of brown rice. You can just make the brown rice and then measure out a yellow container of brown rice for your meal. Same thing with oatmeal. When you make the oatmeal, you're going to make the oatmeal and then you're going to measure a yellow container. I say that because that's kind of a common question. So just wanted to make sure we covered that. So that's some of the ideas that I have that I've made food ahead of time for, or I've chopped it ahead of time for, so that I don't have to do it the day of. Mornings tend to be a little crazy, and if I want to let my husband have some of this yummy stuff, I have to have it either made early or I have to be able to make it quickly. Okay, I'm almost done, I promise. So I've got fresh vegetables, I've got fresh asparagus. This is for lunches and things. Fresh green beans that are packaged, like they're trimmed and packaged in a paper towel in a container. Got some fresh berries in here. Okay, so these containers, I talked about them. In my meal planning video. These ones are super handy. You can get them off Amazon, but this makes prepping for lunch way easier because you can prep for lunch ahead of time by like measuring out extra of dinner and putting your protein in one slot, you know, carb in another, and your vegetables in the biggest spot. Okay, other things that I do like pretty much every single week. I get fresh kale and I pull it apart. Like I tear it off of the thick part because I don't like the thick part. I think it tastes too, I don't know, chewy. So this is what my leaves look like. I do roasted kale. I just spritz them with cooking spray and sprinkle like a dash of Himalayan salt, which is the pink sea salt. You can use regular sea salt too, but the Himalayan sea salt actually has the minerals that your body needs to absorb nutrients. The kale though is really yummy just as a snack. I'll make it like, it takes like 8 minutes to make it the most. Because your oven has to preheat and then you cook it for like 5 to 6 minutes at 350, 375 until it's just kind of crispy. Let's see. I've got lettuce in here. I'm making stir fry, so I've got broccoli that's ready for the stir fry. And when I slice those carrots for the chow mein, the spaghetti squash chow mein, then I'm also going to slice the carrots for the stir fry. Okay, so I'm trying to I hope this is kind of explaining it, but for the most part, I'm thinking ahead to what I'm going to make the next day or where I can make double of something. Because if I can make double of something or prepare double of something, then it'll be that much easier the day of that I'm making something else. Another tip for prepping, if you know you have a busy day coming up, then make sure that you have everything prepped for that day ahead of time. Maybe do a crock pot meal, or say it's in a week that you have a crazy busy day coming up. Then make a meal like you could do lasagna, the stuffed bell peppers, something that you can make extra of and freeze it for the next week. That's another way to prepare for other things that are coming up. Okay, so that's like what I'm planning for. I have one day of eating out planned in there, and if we don't eat out, then I have a plan for that too. And then I have family dinner with my family the next Sunday. So I try and keep it simple. I might try 1 or 2 new recipes a week, and that's about it. Everything else I pull from things that I just know that I like, and I just kind of rotate through different ideas. I stick with like trying to have one Italian based, one kind of American based kind of meal, and then just some kind of like Asian flavor and another like a Mexican flavor kind of meal, and the other one might just be a repeat of one of those. That way there's some variety and you get some different flavors in there, which makes it fun because then you don't get bored. Okay, I hope that's helpful, and I look forward to hearing how you guys plan to meal prep. Doesn't have to be specific, just start testing things out and figuring out what works for you.